Hello, Tug members. We're coming off of our regional meeting or mid-year meeting, whatever we want to call it, in Chicago. And I'm happy to spend a couple minutes with you today. Uh, I always run way over on the minute with Mark, and this will be much closer to a minute, but it will not be just one. Um, the regional meeting last week was really good. We had 25 member companies there, with more than that, with multiple attendees. We had 10 of our exceptional um, suppliers that were there, that are very committed to what we do. And the centerpiece of the whole meeting was the Equalis Group and launching that, as we did in the shareholder meeting in Denver at the annual conference. It was really a nice meeting. I think a lot of people got a lot out of it. But I'm going to give you a bit of background on that and how it went, and some of the key questions people had. First and foremost, um, to be part of our Equalis program, you have to complete the Business Practices Agreement, or the BPA. And all that is, and it's available on the portal, but all that is a commitment that you're going to follow the guidelines that we have set and they have set for reporting and the administrative side of how to negotiate the contract. So first and foremost, you have to do that. And once you've done that, that opens up the Equalis information on the portal under the Customers tab, for you to go down, click on Equalis, and you can see all the information that's available. And it helps you to sell their what they call agencies, what we call end users, and help you through that process. What I really wanted to spend time today on is what the most confusing thing has been for everybody from the get-go, and that is, how do we get contract pricing, or what is the contract price to build up on the cost plus that we have? Um, and there are four approaches. First, if it's a small, just to make it clear, Equalis is involved in the SLED area, which is state, local government, and education. So government spend, state, local, municipality, K through 12, universities, colleges, that kind of thing. So there are four approaches to using the contract. The first is, if it's a small agency, if it's a small, like your local city, your local school, or a little private school, that really doesn't justify any kind of a deviated cost, you can just mark up from whatever your into stock cost is from whatever supplier you have. And then you build up from there to the appropriate markup. The second approach is, Equalis has and is working on several national contracts with manufacturers, where they have a deviated national contract price. Now, understand that for a lot of manufacturers, to do a price like that with no parameters, where they don't know any volumes, they don't know where it's going, they don't know the freight factor that's involved from their plants, that's not always a great price for you to use, or a great cost. So sometimes that might be a little high, but we're working on getting those from them, and we have several of our key suppliers working with them to develop those. The third approach is, we are working with our key suppliers for Equalis contracts on a national scope that are built around either a tiered costing based on volume, or on a zone pricing based on geography, so that they can get as aggressive as they possibly can. And the fourth approach, which is probably where you'll get the most aggressive price, is where you approach your local salesperson, and ask them for a price for one of the Equalis agencies. And then they will come back to you and they will give you a contract that is closer to the end user or agency, and they know all of the details, they know the volumes, they know the freight that's involved, and they can get as aggressive as they can possibly get. So those are the four approaches that we can take. But one of the most important things to remember is that cost is not necessarily the most critical number we need to know for compliance. For compliance, the appropriate markup is what's most important. So cost really doesn't matter, whether it's markup from your stock price, markup from the national contract price for Equalis, markup from a TUD contract, or markup from a local contract for you. Uh, what's important to them in the event of an audit and to stay in compliance with their contract is that you have marked it up the appropriate percentage with the category that you're selling. So that's important, and feel free to call me to clear that up if I'm not. The other thing I want to point out that we've learned is that cost is not necessarily the cost that's given by the manufacturer. They allow you, or you are allowed to put in your operational load to your cost. So say XYZ manufacturer gives you a cost of $10 and you have an operational load of 2, 3, 4, maybe even 5%. You can add that to the cost that is given by the manufacturer and then build up from there to sell to the end user or the agency. There is no set number for that. It's not something we're setting for everybody at TUG. It is something that is personal to you and your own market. You know what you need. And I would just say that you can't be too aggressive because you don't want to price yourself out of competitiveness based on your operational load. But you can build your cost up that way, and that gives you a little bit of wiggle room on profitability within the contract. And the last thing I want to say is that whatever we do, whether it's on the markup from stock, the Equalis national contract, the TUD contract, or a local contract, all of that business with a local agency must be reported through ABBY to be reported through Equalis and take care of our business there. I hope that wasn't too confusing. I tend to be a little chatty, and I'm sorry I don't have a guest here that I can have some witty repartee with, but you're stuck with me this month, and we're just going to talk about this. So call me with any questions, email me, text me. Everybody have a great week, and we appreciate you and your support. Thank you.